Starfield is a game that we have spent years thinking about and working on. Something we feel uniquely positioned to pull off and that we're incredibly excited about. But we're also building toward the game after that. And it's the one you keep asking about.
Mother 3 is the sequel to the beloved SNES title Earthbound, releasing in Japan in 2006, but never seeing a release anywhere else. Many fans are outraged by this, you can imagine, because it's been over 10 years and we still don't have it yet. In 2008, though, a fan translation was made and it was one of the most downloaded things on the internet within its first week. It would have sold incredibly well if it were an official release. And many fans have lost hope completely, obviously, because it's been over a decade. But there is still hope at Mother 3 being released in the West once and for all. Over the last few years, Reggie has seemed a little bit more open to the idea, and with the localization and success of Earthbound Beginnings in 2015, an official release of Mother 3 is entirely possible. Over the last year or so, though, there has definitely been evidence to support that an official Mother 3 could be in production or about to be in production soon. To start, let's take a look at the legend himself, Reggie. I already mentioned him becoming more open to the possibility of Mother 3 over the last few years, especially with the success of Earthbound's numerous re-releases and the localization of Earthbound Beginnings being successful on the Wii U eShop. With the successes of these titles, fans have asked him over the years about Mother 3. This was when he started to seem a lot more open to the idea rather than instantly shooting it down like he did in the past. But at this past E3, he was asked about Mother 3 specifically, and his response seemed a little bit more open than the past few years. This was when he started to seem a lot more open to the idea rather than instantly shooting it down like he did in the past. But at this past E3, he was asked about Mother 3, and his response seemed even more open than that of the past few years. He specifically says about Mother 3, and I quote, "Again, I know, there's a fan base for that title. All I can say is we're aware. It's something to always think about in terms of where there are opportunities to reintroduce the IP to fans, to do it in a way that builds new fans. We're certainly aware, no promises, no commitments one way or the other, but we're aware." End quote. I want to stress that what he said is not an official confirmation, but is possible he was hinting at something in the very near future. He's aware of the game's fan base, he's been saying that for years, but he mentioned something different this time. He claimed to try to find a way for new players to experience the game. With Lucas returning in Smash Ultimate just around the corner, people are going to want to play his game and get familiar with him, especially since other characters from the game, Kumatora and Boney, appear in his final Smash. Smash would be the chance to introduce the game to new players, as both Lucas and Ness appear in the game. While more people know Ness, that may only be because Earthbound was re-released so many times. Mother 3 has never been released in the West at all. Smash made Earthbound popular in a way, as well as made other titles like Fire Emblem more popular. Smash has also revived people like Pit and King K. Rool. The average player isn't going to know who Lucas is. Sure, they'll know he's from the same series as Ness, but that might compel them to want to play Mother 3 even more. Still don't believe it yet, well, there's actual concrete evidence in Smash Ultimate to support this theory. Look at all the tiny details and attention the Mother franchise received in Smash Ultimate specifically. Ness's friends, Paula and Pooh, appear when he uses his final Smash. A rambling evil shroom is a new item in the game. Those are all pretty well known, but Lucas's Final Smash is also different and with a really cool new detail. Kumatora and Boney come to his aid, which is already cool, but take a look at the background. It changes. Any Mother 3 fan would know what this is. It's the Masked Man's battle background from Mother 3. The question is, why? Why would they add this awesome detail to people who can't experience the game? To people who wouldn't catch this detail at all? Why add Kumatora and Boney? Why waste their time giving them a 3D model? The answer is that Mother 3 isn't just getting localized, it's getting a remaster. And I know what you're thinking. Most fans would never believe it and just turn the video off right now. But take a minute and think. They gave Kumatora and Boney 3D models. They gave a rambling evil shroom, which is an enemy in the game, a 3D model. Why? It's very rare that Sakurai would just give them a 3D model when he himself has stated that he hated modeling the trophies in the games anyways. Now is also time to note that most assist trophies are just reused models from previous games. Only the new assist trophies get actual 3D models. So that's not a reason. Kumatora and Boney are appearing in a Final Smash, which is different, because it's part of the character's moveset. Chrom appears in Robin's Final Smash, and then became a playable character in Ultimate. Petey Piranha appears in Piranha Plant's Final Smash, and has the exact same appearance from Brawl. The point is, these models weren't used for nothing. The point is that Sakurai wouldn't waste his time making a 3D model on these characters, especially if average people would barely know who they are. On top of all of that, look at all of the detail on their models. Why would he just give that much detail on a Final Smash, on characters that just appear in a Final Smash? It just seems a little odd. It's a great detail to be sure, and I think any Mother fan would love it. But I personally don't think Sakurai would have wasted his time making a 3D model for these characters if they weren't also going to be used for something else in a future game down the line. Keep in mind, Paula, Pooh, and Jeff also all have 3D models, so it's possible Earthbound could get upgraded as well. Maybe even a collection of both games for $60 on the Switch. Either way, Lucas and Ness's Final Smashes were the only ones that were changed. And although it's a nice touch, it just seems a little odd that he's giving them all 3D models. Also, one last note. Kumatora and Boney have never been trophies before in the past, meaning this is their first 3D model ever, which could further support that he had a reason to make these models and put that much detail into them. And this could all go back to the detail of the background changing during Lucas's Final Smash. They remodeled the battle background of the final boss of Mother 3. Why? They didn't have to do that, so why did they? They had 3D models for these characters, and if they do remaster the game and keep the battles in the same format, they would already have the battle background for the final boss also. A remaster seems all too easy at this point, but there's even more evidence to support it. There is a lot more in Smash Ultimate regarding spirits. It is a minefield of evidence, especially when you look at all of the Mother spirits. Out of Mother 3 in particular, there aren't that many. There's Lucas, Klaus, Duster, Kumatora, Boney, Masked Man, Ultimate Chimera, Absolutely Safe Capsule, Flint, Hinawa, and Salsa. Correct me if I missed any. This isn't a lot, but they're at least there and are able to give the lore of Mother 3 to an average audience. Also, look at the list. Salsa is on that list. If you don't know, Salsa's Japanese name is Sarusa. I probably am going to say all these Japanese words wrong, but bear with me. Saru is Japanese for monkey, so Sarusa has no direct translation into English. The fan translation team named him Salsa, not Nintendo. I'm aware Salsa was a sticker in Brawl, but he has a much bigger role in this game as a spirit, even so far as to giving him a spirit battle against Wario and Diddy Kong in the Gerudo Desert. That's a really nice nod to Chapter 3 of Mother 3 if you haven't played the game. Why would Nintendo take a fan translation name though? It just seems a bit weird, especially because Salsa is such a minor character in the game. There are so many more that could have just replaced him, like the Magypsies. They're really important characters. Facade is a more important character. Alec and Wes, they're kind of just minor characters, but they could have still been there. It just seems odd that Salsa is in there for seemingly no reason when Nintendo doesn't even have an official name for him. That being said, with all of these characters as spirits, we now have official names for all of the Mother 3 characters, including Salsa. Kumatora and Boney definitely have official names since they were showcased at E3. Now all of these names so far are the same as the fan translation, but that's not such a bad thing. It could even be possible so far as Nintendo used the fan translation script with permission, because it has been offered to them in the past before, but I do not know for certain if that were the case, and I'm not saying that's what happened. It could just be coincidence, or they had the same idea. I don't know. On the topic of spirits, though, it's weird that they would enlighten us on all of these Mother 3 characters. There are more Mother 3 ones than Earthbound, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am, but I think there's more Mother 3 ones. It's just weird, that's all. Want to know what's weirder? Take a look at all of the Earthbound and Mother 3 spirits. Out of all of them, there was one major character who isn't there at all. He isn't even in the game at all, which is a huge surprise considering how important of a character he is. This is none other than Porky Minch. In Brawl, he was a boss, and if anyone was returned as a boss in World of Light, I thought for sure it would have been him. But he isn't a boss. He isn't a spirit, and he isn't even in the game. But he is such an important character in Earthbound and Mother 3. Yes, I know absolutely Safe Capsule is a spirit, but considering it is right next to Ultimate Chimera on the list, it's probably just a spirit that raises your defense, since Ultimate Chimera would probably raise your attack. In my opinion, Porky would be a prime first-party DLC candidate, especially if Mother 3 was localized and or remastered. And it would be almost guaranteed if both Earthbound and Mother 3 were remade because he's featured in both. Even the people that haven't played Mother know him from Subspace Emissary, and are probably curious about him since he has a cool-looking spider mech. On top of that, Porky is a popular character in Japan, and I believe he ranked pretty high on the Smash ballot over there. And would be an original character, and he would be a first-party character. Ridley was a boss in Brawl, so there's no reason Porky couldn't be downsized either. He has a lot of moveset potential, and he has numerous potentials for Final Smashes, to be honest. And for those of you who are saying he already has a theme and stage, they could just remaster Pokey Means Business from Earthbound as his new theme, and choose any setting from Mother 3 for his stage. My best bet would be Thunder Tower or Empire Porky Building for the stage. And for his reveal trailer, his card could simply just be Porky Means Business, giving a nice nod at the song. All of this boils down to one last thing, the icing on the cake that seals the deal. If Mother 3 would be localized, it's likely that it would happen soon with all of these tiny details in Smash Ultimate and the possibility of Porky being DLC. Keep one thing in mind. 2019 is the 30th anniversary of the franchise. A perfect thing to do would remaster all 3 games on one cartridge for the Switch, sort of like a collection. Ness and his friends already have their 3D models. Lucas, Kumatora, and Boney do too. All they would need to do is just remodel Duster. for the main party of the game. Porky has a model from Brawl that they would just need to enhance for both Ultimate DLC and for remastering the games. The possibility of this happening, I think, is actually very high if you look at all of the just solid evidence that's just in Smash Ultimate. And for the doubters, Smash Ultimate has also alluded towards Nintendo's future with Luigi's Mansion 3. In the Simon Belmont trailer, they showcased the new Poltergust, and then later in the September Direct, they announced the game. Then there was Isabelle's trailer, which announced the next Animal Crossing with it. It's even possible that King K. Rool model could be used in the next Donkey Kong Country, but that's more speculation and not concrete fact. And one thing is definitely for sure, though, Smash Ultimate is extremely popular. That combined with everything else, including the success of Earthbound Beginnings on the Virtual Console, I would say at the very least a Mother 3 official translation in the West is bound to happen. But it's the 30th anniversary of the franchise, and Atoy himself seems very in touch with his fans. It's possible he could just take all of this over the top and remaster all of it on the Switch. As a final side note, this is all speculation, of course, but I personally think the points add up. Even if Mother 3 wasn't localized, Porky could still be in Smash, and vice versa. There's always the possibility of neither of those happening either. It could just be a scenario like Brawl where Lucas was added and Porky happened to be a boss. But Mother 3 had just come out at that time, so I think that's the reason why. Mother 3 was completely absent from Smash 4 until Lucas was DLC. I just think with Smash Ultimate being such a big game, it would be the perfect opportunity to support Reggie's claim of introducing it to new fans. And the 30th anniversary of Mother is coming up in 2019. A collection of all three games, remastered or not, would be perfect. The franchise has a history with collections too, with the Japanese exclusive GBA port Mother 1 Plus 2. There is no doubt that Mother 3 is on high demand in the West and has been for a long time now. It is also a popular franchise in Japan. Doing something for Mother's 30th anniversary just seems right, and I'm pretty sure Nintendo knows they would make a lot of money for doing it. Lastly, if you look at the Switch lineup, there isn't really a whole lot coming. 2018 is quiet except for Smash, and 2019 also looks really quiet right now too, unless if we get news on Metroid. Mother would be a very hype announcement that would make money and possibly even sell consoles. It's no coincidence that it just so happens to be its 30th anniversary. So what do you think? Will Nintendo prevail? Will Reggie finally come through for us? Will we get a remake or a remaster, or will we just get the original GBA game translated on the Switch eShop? I personally wish they remaster all three games, because I've never played Earthbound Beginnings, but I mean, I'd be fine if Mother 3 just got an official release at this point. I'm pretty sure everyone would be. That's pretty much it.